behind this， 以及所有球员 and the rest of the team。
接着介绍先手美国队教练以及先发球員。And now introducing the coaches and the starting lineup for Team United States. 总教练 Manager Number 9, Michael Cordile. 教练 Coach Number 7, Jason Maxwell. 教练 Coach Number 32, Latry Hoggins. 教练 Coach Number 29, Michael Chaffin. 第一棒 batting first, second baseman number 5, Koei James. 第二棒 center fielder number 4, Derek Curriel. 第三棒 first baseman number 16, PJ Molando. 第四棒 batting fourth, right fielder number 22, Connor Griffin. 第五棒 batting fifth, designated hitter number 18, Levi Clark. 第六棒 batting six, left fielder number 12, Bryce Renner. 第七棒 batting seven, catcher number 23, Berkeley Mabras. 第八棒 batting eight, third baseman number 3, Carter Johnson. 第九棒 batting nine, shortstop number 2, Manny Marin. 先发投手 starting pitcher number 14, Levi Sterling. 以及所有球员 and the rest of the team. 为您介绍本场比赛的执法裁判。Introducing the umpires for today's game. 主审 behind home plate from Czech Republic is Mr. Malik Vichala. 一垒审 on the first base side from Italia is Mr. Yuli Machiavelli. 二垒审 on the second base side from Chinese Taipei is Mr. Lin Fusheng. 三垒审 on the third base side from Mexico is Mr. Eduardo Gamias. 请各位观众朋友起立以及脱帽，我们将要播放两队的国歌。Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your cap as we play our national anthem of Venezuela and United States. 现在演奏委内瑞拉国歌 ，Now the national anthem of Venezuela. "接下来演奏美国国歌 ，And now the national anthem of United States." 请坐下，请覆帽。Please be seated and put on your hat.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Taipei's Tianmu Baseball Stadium and game number 28 of the WBSC U18 Baseball World Cup as we have reached the final day of the opening round. And today, one of the teams moving on to the Super Round will collide with one headed for the placement round as the 3-1 United States, the world number 2, gets set to collide with world number 6 Venezuela. Hi, everybody. My name is Tyler Mon. It's great to have you alongside with us for this one. Keith Jong not going to be joining me for this broadcast, but Keith will have you for the night game tonight, a big one with Super Round implications between Japan and the Netherlands as the 3 spots in the Super Round determine, at least in terms of which teams will fill them from here in Group B, but not necessarily which order, as the United States today trying to finish things up at 4-1. And will do so under relatively clear skies today compared to the last few days. We had sun for the morning contest today between Panama and Spain, in which Panama pulled away late for a 3-1 win, finishing the opening round at 2-3. Spain dropped to a winless 0-5. The U.S. at 3-1 with a loss a couple of nights ago to Japan. They had a 6-0 lead after the top of the third inning yesterday. Ended up hanging on for a 6-4 victory over Panama, but this United States team feels like it really has not yet hit its top gear. There you see the standings in Group B. The U.S. as of right now in a tie with the Netherlands, but has the head-to-head win over the Netherlands in those 3-1 records. Japan, with a win over the U.S., they will see the Netherlands tonight, so there are all kinds of tiebreakers at play. If the Netherlands is able to win that game and the U.S. wins this one, everybody would be 4-1, and there would be round-robin wins against each other. But all that obviously remains to be determined as we get a look at today's starting lineup as announced for Venezuela by a manager who is looking to head out on a winning note and head to the placement round with a squad feeling good about itself. Carlos Garces will lead things off for this Venezuela squad. Then it's Elianecker Coronado and Gabriel Davalillo. Those are the 3 due up this inning. Brayson Guedes is the right fielder batting out of the 6th spot. Anderson Tovar will follow behind him. And Esmequiel Arrieche is the 9-hole hitter for Clemente Alvarez's Venezuela team. On the other side, the United States, the home team today, the U.S. with 3 wins and 4 tries, the 1 loss, a 4-0 shutout going into the bottom of the 7th inning against Japan. They rallied for 3 runs, had the tying run in scoring position and the potential game-winning run on base, stranded them there. The U.S. in stretches in this World Cup has looked really good, like the first 2.5 innings yesterday against Panama. At other times, they have looked somewhat confounding. They've got a few changes in the field today. Derek Curiel stays in center field, Manny Marin at shortstop. Bryce Rayner is out in left field today. We've seen him on the pitcher's mound. We've seen him at third base. P.J. Morlando will be over at first. Berkeley Mabius is back behind the plate for the United States. And he will be there to receive the tosses from the right-hander Levi Sterling, the soon-to-be Texas Longhorn, if he keeps his college commitment, depending on what happens with his MLB draft stock over the coming years. This 17-year-old will get the nod on the final day today for the United States. And for Sterling in the U.S., this really feels like one of those games in which if you can perform strong, you can head in with some momentum to the Super Round coming up after the day off tomorrow. If not, I think this is a U.S. team that's got a lot of people somewhat scratching their heads as to what exactly needs to click and go right to head into the Super Round and feel good about 3 really strong teams that are going to be coming in from Group A play down the road in Taichung. So it all gets started here on this Tuesday afternoon in Taiwan as Carlos Garces gets set to step into the batter's box and lead things off here on a Tuesday. Another humid day, but this is the first day in a while in which A, we haven't had any rain, and B, there's not a lot of wind in this ballpark. There's always going to be some situated at the base of the mountains here in Taipei, but not a ton of swirling wind as we saw, especially with that heavy wind advisory a couple of days ago. And the first pitch at 2:31 in the afternoon is just low for ball 1, and we are underway here in Taipei. Temperatures in the upper 80s Fahrenheit today. A ball and a strike on Carlos Garces, the leadoff man. Garces 2 for 9 so far here in the World Cup. A run batted in and a couple of runs scored. 1-1. Fouled away to make it 1-2. Venezuela opening things with a 13-4 loss to Panama on day number 1 of Group B play, and a bouncer back up the middle into center field. A solid single from Carlos Garces to get things started here in the top of 1. Panama pulled away late in that game. The Netherlands then dominated Venezuela the next day in an 8-2 win, actually threw a no-hitter. It was an ugly no-hitter. It came with 11 walks by Netherlands pitchers, including walks that scored a couple of runs for Venezuela, but no-hitter just the same. As Elienecker Coronado stands in. Third game of this opening round, Venezuela with a 6-1 win over Spain. Spain finishing the opening round winless at 0-5. They will head to the placement round. Runner off from first, bouncing ball through the right side is a single that follows Garces' hit. He's around second and headed for third. The throw there is offline, and man, had that not hit Venezuela's third base coach, I believe that's Joan Ocanto over there, probably would have enabled Garces to score. As it is, it does enable Coronado to move up. And it does go as an error charged to the U.S. right fielder Connor Griffin. So it's second and third now to get things started for Venezuela here in the top of the first inning. We have said time and again this week, this Venezuela team has not had a whole lot of wins. They got blanked 10-0 by Japan last night, but there's a lot of talent on this team. And Gabriel Davalillo trying to make the 2 singles hurt here in the top of the first, and a high fastball is ball 1 to him. Davalillo 3 for 12 with a triple, a couple of runs batted in, and a run scored for Venezuela. And he swings and bounces one left side. It's picked over there on the backhand by Manny Marin, who did a nice job holding the runners, and his throw to first is in time for out number 1. Carlos Garces, you could tell, thought about it for a second, had to hold at third. Marin checked both runners, sending Coronado back to the second base bag, and still had enough time to get Davalillo. So 1 gone, and it brings up Randy Soto, the left-handed hitting first baseman. Three grounders off the bat of Venezuela hitters. That's the positive thing if you're Levi Sterling right now. Oh, 1. That one's lifted in the air out to left. Marin on a long run, Bryce Rayner on a long run, and it's Rayner the one to make the catch. 2 gone. And Levi Sterling 1 out away from wriggling out of the jam after Venezuela put runners at second and third with nobody gone. Bryce Rayner started back, came in on that long trot, and got there in time. So 2 gone now. A chance for Sterling to get out of it as he goes against the 5-hole hitting catcher, Francisco Rivero. Three hits for Rivero so far through the first 4 days of this World Cup. 2 of those have been doubles. Wearing that familiar maroon and gold look of Venezuela's national team. Way late on that pitch. Fastball at 143 kilometers per hour. One of these years, I am going to figure out the conversion for myself between kilometers per hour and miles per hour. I know 150. I know that's low 90s. Anything else, my Google search results have been well acclimated to me typing in KMH to MPH. A big swing miss there from Francisco Rivero. He has gone on strikes, and that is the final out of the first inning. Back-to-back singles and runners at second and third with nobody out, ending up doing no damage to the United States from Venezuela. And we will head to the bottom of the first inning. Venezuela scoreless, and the U.S. coming up.
下半比赛即将开始，为您介绍今天委内瑞拉队的先发守备阵容。Introducing the fielding lineup for Venezuela. It lays show the first batsman number 7, Brandy Soto. It lays show the second batsman number 5, Gatlo Galces. Then lays show the third batsman number 13 is Miguel Adileacher. Yoji show the shortstop number 10, Ilaniker Colonando. 左外野手 the left fielder number 18, Anderson Novas. 中外野手 the center fielder number 2, Christian Aguilegas. 右外野手 the right fielder number 11, Blasson Geddes. 捕手 the catcher number 15.
Coy James will lead things off for the United States, one of the hottest hitters in this U18 Baseball World Cup, getting things started here in the bottom of one as this talented U.S. lineup has been held from a breakout performance so far in the U18 World Cup. You see Connor Griffin in the cleanup spot. Bryce Rayner is down in the 6th hole today. Manny Marin rounds things out in the United States order. We've seen at some points really impressive innings from the U.S., even a few innings strung together like the first 3 yesterday. But the United States, to this point in this World Cup, has not scored more than 6 runs in any game. Scored 6 in a 6-2 win over Spain on the second day, I should say, of Group B play. Scored 6 yesterday in a 6-4 win over Panama. And the U.S. is 9. We'll get a look today at the right-hander Brian Fernandez, who takes the pitcher's mound in the start for Venezuela. Final day of the opening round of this U18 Baseball World Cup. And swinging a shot from Coy James. He's got another base hit to get a game started. And rounding first, he will hold up there with a leadoff single. Coy James now 6 for 15 in this tournament. He has been terrific. I remember riding back on the plane from Hermosillo to Houston with USA Baseball after the U15 Baseball World Cup last year. Coy James and I sat next to each other, and he had the U15 Most Outstanding Player Trophy as his carry-on item, which was, as a member of the USA Baseball staff put it to me a couple days ago, it's quite the flex to fly home from a trip with, yeah, I'm just going to take this MVP trophy. That'll be the personal item I take on this flight. Not a bad way to go. Coy over at first base after his 6th hit so far of the World Cup, and Derek Curiel takes ball 1 down and in. Right-hander sets and deals. 2 balls and no strikes. Down the left field line, going the other way. Took off briefly on Anderson Tovar, but he's there to haul it in. Curiel's retired. And with 1 gone, here is P.J. Morlando.
Number 16, P.J. Morlando.
Orlando, the big lefty bat out of the middle of the lineup for the U.S. As you can see, 4 for 10. Off from first is Coy James. Good pitch to throw on. Down to second. Not going to be in time with that speed. And a stolen base for Coy James puts him in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Of Orlando's 4 hits, he's got a double and a triple. Trying to give the U.S. a lead in the bottom of 1. Breaking pitch, it didn't break. 2 balls and no strikes. Very careful with Orlando. Connor Griffin waiting in the on-deck circle. And the 3-0 nowhere close for ball 4. So it's first and second. Possibility of a force out at any bag for Venezuela, but 2 aboard for the U.S. for Griffin. Connor Griffin just 2 for 11 to start this World Cup, but earlier today, prior to the start of this game, Connor Griffin just went out to the plate area, stood there with a bat, and kind of took some practice swings, just getting comfortable dry swings in the batter's box on the field. His first pitch swinging here, fouls it away. It's 0-1. Not a super common thing that I've seen on a baseball field, but when you feel like things aren't going your way, anything to get yourself going again. One of those 2 hits for Griffin, a double. He's driven in a run and scored twice. No balls and a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike, I should say. Runner's bluff, and Griffin will take that up and in. Fernandez not finding a rhythm here in the first. Single fly out, stolen base, walk. Griffin bounces it right side. Picked over there by Carlos Garces. He'll get 1 out at second. Return throw to first. Gets away from the first baseman, Soto. That's going to bring in a run. Griffin's into second on the error, and the U.S. is onto the board with a 1-0 lead.
batting 5th, number 18, Levi Clark.
So a man will stay in scoring position for the U.S. off of the fielder's choice and error. And with 2 gone now, here's Levi Clark with a chance to double this lead. There's pitch, a called strike to him. Clark checking that belt-mounted play card. That's the sign system for the U.S. Runner off, 1-1 fouled away. Connor Griffin is a big dude. He moves very well. I've been really impressed with how he runs. Big cleanup hitting right fielder out of Jackson, Mississippi. Florence, Mississippi, listed as his hometown. Jackson Prep, his school. 1-2 swung on and missed. So the U.S. able to put a couple on with one out. They bring in one, and Levi Clark's strikeout ends things in the first. We will head to the top half of the second inning. The United States with the lead out in front of Venezuela, 1-0.
United States and Venezuela is 1-0.
因为爱，责任在，全球人寿。
比赛来到二局上半，首先上场的是第6棒 ，batting sixth number 11 Blackstone Geddes。
6, 7, and 8 for Venezuela in the top of the second inning as the right fielder Bryson Guedes will lead things off, and the first pitch fastball into him is there for strike one from U.S. right-hander Levi Sterling. Guedes 4 for 10. He is his team's leading hitter through the first 4 days of this U18 Baseball World Cup. He was also the center fielder back on day number 1 when Dimas Oda for Panama launched a 3-run inside the park homer past Guedes' dive in center field. An aggressive route to a ball as he tried to make a diving catch. Unable to come up with it, but it's been fun to watch in the outfield. 1-2, he'll chop over to first, and an easy play over there for PJ Morlando. 1 up and 1 down. They're in the top of the second. Keep you updated with what's going on in Group A play today as well. Already 2 finals from Group A. Korea over Mexico in the early game today, 2-1. Czech Republic grabbing a win, knocking off Australia 5-2. Aussie's offense has just really struggled this U18 Baseball World Cup. Final games of the day coming up this evening. Matchup of unbeatens and a really good one on tap in Taichung as Puerto Rico and Chinese Taipei will collide. That game coming up at 6:30 local time. Same start time for the Netherlands and Japan. And a swing and a miss here as Anderson Tovar goes down on strikes. 2 gone. Second strikeout for Levi Sterling. Will bring up Esmael Arrieche. Check that. Cristian Arguelles out of the 8th spot. Arrieche in the on-deck circle. And a left side pop-up, foul ground. Berkeley Mabius making the call, giving way to Carter Johnson, who makes the grab in foul territory, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down, and 6 straight retired by Levi Sterling since the back-to-back singles to start this game. And we go to the bottom of the second, the U.S. with a 1-0 lead.
山熊本熊卡，旅日熊便利，带你一起开启幸福的旅程。
著名电梯竞技场，遍及全台南北各地，国际竞争激烈，刀光剑影不断。电梯战场其实就是三铁战场，扎实的锻炼成就真功夫，精益求精，累积登峰造极的本钱。
比赛来到了局下半，场上打劫是第6棒 ，Batting 6 Number 12 Bryce Rayner。
Bottom of the second inning, a 1-0 lead for the United States over Venezuela in the final game of the opening round for these two teams, as the U.S. is off to the Super Round in pursuit of a successful defense of its U18 Baseball World Cup Championship from a year ago on home soil in Bradenton and Sarasota, Florida. Venezuela to the placement round. After today, they will pack up and head on to Taichung. Taichung about an hour ride away on high-speed rail from here in Taipei. This is going to be really fun having the home team back in the house here in Taipei, though, as a swing and a miss there by Bryce Rayner. Got a piece and foul tipped it into the glove of Francisco Rivero. Leadoff man is gone. Chinese Taipei's home squad will arrive here for the start of the opening round on Thursday, or the start of the Super Round, I should say. 3 games for each Super Round team against all the teams that advanced from the other group. And remember that your record carries over from the opening round against your fellow Super Round teams. So, for example, the U.S. is going to head into the Super Round at 1-1 since they beat the Netherlands but lost to Japan. If the Netherlands wins that game tonight, every team coming out of Group B would advance at 1-1. If Japan wins, they'll be 2-0, U.S. 1-1, and the Netherlands 0-2, which really puts the Netherlands behind the 8 ball in pursuit of a berth in the World Championship game or the bronze medal game coming up on Sunday. Berkeley Mabius facing a 3-0 count. Mabius out of Henderson, Nevada. Baseball powerhouse school, Bishop Gorman, and check swing by Mabius, and it looked like he went. It did take a second for Marek Vichar, our umpire from the Czech Republic, to appeal down to third. Eduardo Gomez did ring up that check swing strike, so here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way to Mabius, and he's gone on strikes. That one disappears past his bats. That's 3 straight strikeouts now by Brian Fernandez. And with 2 gone, it'll bring up the 8-hole hitter Carter Johnson. Fly ball in the air the other way off the bat of Johnson. And an easy play out there for Anderson Tovar, and that will retire the side. The U.S. gone 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the second, just like Venezuela was in the top half. We'll head to the third. The United States 1 and Venezuela nothing.
菜，
上半。
全球
首先要上场打击的是第9棒 batting nine number 13 is Miguel Aliacher。
Top of the third inning, it'll be 9-1-2 for Venezuela as Miguel Ariete will lead things off. No balls and a strike to Venezuela's third baseman. Ariete 1 for 8 to get things going through the first 4 days of this World Cup for him. Venezuela's had some really good stretches in this World Cup, but just hasn't been able to put together a lot of consistent offense. Scored 8 runs, or check that, scored 6 runs in that win over Spain. Other than that, combined in their other 3 games, they've scored 6 runs. As this one's bounced through the left side, Arieche's got a base hit. The leadoff man is aboard in the top half of the third. That'll send it back to the top of the order. And Carlos Garces.
打击棒次轮回到第1棒 batting first number 5 Gatlo Garces。
First pitch bunt down, first base side from Elianecker Coronado. Sacrifice is successful as the out is at first. Puts Ariete at second. Venezuela going small ball to try to manufacture the game-tying run here in the third inning. And with one man gone, it sends it to Coronado. Elianecker single through the right side in the top half of the first, and he gets drilled here in the third. It's upper 80s in miles per hour, and that doesn't feel good regardless of where it gets you, but it certainly doesn't feel good right in the middle of the back. So hit by pitch puts runners at first and second as Coronado being attended to. Hasn't been an easy early afternoon for Coronado. Committed the throwing error that allowed the run to score and then gets plunked in the back by an 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
打击轮到第3棒 batting third number 4 WAW。
So with one gone, force outs at any bag. Three hits for Venezuela so far, and a ground ball over 2/3. Speared there by Johnson. To second for one, on to first. A 5-4-3 double play does the job, and the inning is over. Gabriel Davalillo bounces into the twin killing, and the U.S. will retain the lead headed to the bottom half of the third. 1-0 United States out in front here in game number 26 of the U18 World Cup.
熊粉熊卡，旅日熊便利，带你一起开启幸福的旅程。
比赛来到3局下半，场上打击是第9棒 batting nine number 2 Manny Marin。
Ball one inside on Manny Marin to get things started in the bottom half of the third inning for the United States. Marin out of the 9-hole in the U.S. lineup. Coy James back at the top spot, and Derek Curiel, the 3 due to the plate, and a rope to left field as Manny Marin's got himself a leadoff single. 6th hit and 11 ABs for Marin, who has held down the latter part of the order. Has been very dependable at the plate for Team USA. And it turns the lineup card over and sends things to Coy James, who singled in his first trip to the plate. Runner off with a pitch, throw down to second base is too high, and Marin's in there safely. That's a good throw. Got a chance to get Marin. Didn't get the greatest jump, but throw sailing high, and Manny slides in under the tag. And maybe some words exchanged between Marin and Elianecker Coronado. Get another look at this. Yep, that'll do it. Coronado tried to swipe Marin's hand off the bag, and I don't really object to Manny Marin reacting that way. That would annoy me if I was a base stealer. Guy brings the glove down and smacks your hand to try to take it off the bag. I don't really know what you're expecting to gain from that situation in the person of Coronado. Marin obviously frustrated. I didn't see that live, and it looked down my scorecard. Here it comes again. Just trying to pull the hand off. Marin's like, get off of me, man. Kudos to Fuxiong Lin, our umpire here from Taiwan, for immediately getting in between those two guys and diffusing that situation. So a ball and no strikes to 2 balls and no strikes. It's Coy James who was spun out of the way on that square around on the first pitch of this AB. Ready to go on 2-0 and chases a high fastball, 2-1. 'That'll get right by Rivero. And the wild pitch puts Marin at third base, so the U.S. putting a runner 90 feet away. Leadoff single, stolen base, wild pitch. What James looking to add to this lead, and the 3-1 is a swing and a miss. Three-two pitch on the way. Into the dirt. That one will skip away from Rivera, and another wild pitch brings in the second run of the day for the U.S. And it's ball 4. So the U.S. with just 2 hits, but able to manufacture runs thanks to stolen bases, errors, wild pitches. Coy James, that good speed on at first. Here's Derek Curiel. Runner off. bunt is down. It's a good one with the pitcher falling toward the first base side. Curiel's there at first. A bunt single, and the U.S. in business with runners at first and second and nobody out. You could see as soon as that ball got down, there was a momentary panic for Brian Fernandez falling off the mound toward the other side. And Curiel beats that by a half step. So first and second, nobody out for P.J. Morlando. Down the left field line, foul. P.J. walked back in the first inning, was retired on what looked like it might be a double play ball, but instead turned into a fielder's choice and a throwing error that plated the first U.S. run of this game. 0-1, and he cracks it in the air to center field. Moving back on it is Arguelles, and a few steps in front of the track, he'll pull it in. Tagging at second, digging for third. Coy James is in. Curiel will move up behind him. And on the fly out, the U.S. pushes runners to second and third with one gone. No balls and a strike on Connor Griffin. A little flare foul on a hop up the first base side. Griffin was the one who beat out that potential double play ball back in the first. Fernandez over 40 pitches now. Trying to limit the damage here in the bottom of the third. Griffin able to reach for and spoil that one. No balls and two strikes. And a swing and a shot toward right. This thing taken off on Guedes, and it's out toward the warning track. He reaches back and hauls it in. Everybody will tag and advance. Connor Griffin yells in frustration. He thought he had gotten that thing out over the head of Bryson Guedes in right. Still goes the sacrifice fly as it plates Coy James, and the U.S. adds another one. It's a 3-0 lead. It's a nice job by Bryson Guedes. I didn't think there was any chance he was going to catch up to that ball. It took off, and he was on kind of a strange angle to get under it, but good job to reach out and make the grab. And with two gone, Derek Curiel pulls into third base, and a two-out RBI situation falls to Levi Clark, and a balk called, and that will plate the run anyway. So the U.S. has scored runs today on an error, a wild pitch, a sacrifice fly, and now a balk. And it is a 4-0 lead. There's just no sufficient pause from Fernandez, who comes way up and in on his first pitch to Clark. Ball and no strikes. One. Makes it 1-2. Levi Clark, strikeout victim in the first inning. Marietta, Georgia native. Wants to think things over as he steps out. Now he's back in. One-two spoiled first base side. Another 1-2 pitch. Just down. Francisco Rivero, that was where he was calling for it, but just missed hitting the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fernandez ready. And the 2-2. Lifted right side, a long run for Randy Soto, and he's not going to get there. Already some fans starting to arrive ahead of the night game tonight. Japan and the Netherlands. Seen some folks in Samurai Japan gear already getting in the house, and that one's a called strike 3 on the inside corner, and Levi Clark is gone on strikes for the final out of the 3rd inning. The U.S. brings in 2 more in a little unorthodox fashion. A wild pitch brings in 3 more. Wild pitch, the sacrifice fly, the balk, and as we head into the top of the 4th, the U.S. has a 4-0 lead.
首先上场的是第4棒 batting for number 7 Randy Soto。
Top half of the 4th inning, a 4-0 cushion for United States starting pitcher Levi Sterling, who will go to work here in the top of 4 against 4, 5, and 6, the middle third of the order for Venezuela. A run in the 1st and 3 in the 3rd for the U.S. Sterling has done a good job scattering 3 hits. On the other side, there you see Venezuela starter Brian Fernandez. And that pitch inside gets the back portion of the leg of Randy Soto. Second batter hit by pitch in the last 3 for Levi Sterling. So some self-created trouble over his last handful of hitters. And Berkeley Mabius goes out to communicate something with his right-handed starter from Los Angeles, California.
打进了第5棒 batting fifth number 15 Francisco Lavello.
First pitch swinging, Francisco Rivero skies one foul down the left field line. Levi Sterling attends Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, California, a place that has produced a ton of baseball talent. Not just baseball talent, actors, football players, musicians. Giancarlo Stanton among the current big leaguers. Wales from Notre Dame High School. Hunter Green, the Cincinnati Reds. Former Cy Young Award winner Jack McDowell. One-two pitch Rivero is right there for a called strike 3. Francisco Rivero is gone. Out number 1 here in the top half of the 4th. Third strikeout of the afternoon for Sterling.
Batting sixth number 11 Bryson Geddes.
Here is Bryson Geddes. Out too short. 6-3 double play, inning over. Easy twin killing there for Manny Marin, and that wraps things up here in the top half of the 4th. The U.S. cruising right now behind a solid effort from Levi Sterling. A 4-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th in Taipei.
比赛来到4局下半，首先上场打击的是第6棒 batting sixth number 12 Bracy Renner。
4-0 lead for the U.S. as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Bryce Rayner will lead things off out of the 6th spot in the order against Brian Fernandez, Venezuela's starter, who is on for his 4th inning of work, up over 50 pitches, kicks and comes home and puts ball 2 in just a little high to Rayner. Bryce out of Simi Valley, California, another baseball powerhouse in Harvard Westlake, where he attends school. Lucas Giolito, one of the many big leaguers who have played their high school days at Harvard Westlake. Rayner 1 for 7 to start this U18 World Cup. Struck out in his first at bat of the day today, and he'll take ball 4 down here to lead things off in the 4th inning with a walk.
Bound batting 7, number 23, Brooklyn Members.
Said this during the first game of the day today. Playing these games on a Tuesday afternoon here in Taipei, and obviously not a jam-packed house for a game between the U.S. and Venezuela during the working day, but it is kind of cool because it enables us to hear the dugout chatter so clearly from both sides through our field mics. Rainer a short lead away from first. 1-0 pitch on the way to Mabius. Count goes even on him. U.S. has not hesitated to run through the game's first 3 innings, so obviously Venezuela very mindful of that. One bunt down, and that was off the foot of Mabius, so. We will do it again at 1-2. It was actually off the back foot. Thought that was off the front foot. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball out to short. This could be 2. 6-4-3. 2 gone after the leadoff walk. Well, what we saw yesterday from the U.S. was a really strong first 3 innings at the plate offensively, followed by essentially just a power outage the rest of the way. The U.S. was retired in order 3 of the last 4 innings and sent the minimum in each of the last 4 against Panama. Saw a 6-0 lead dwindle to 6-4 before closing out that win by 2 runs and a grounder over 2 short as Carter Johnson, that throw pulling Randy Soto off the bag. The U.S. might ask to take a look at this because falling down, Soto, not sure if Soto kept the bag with his foot, and the U.S. will request a review on this. So Venezuela is going to head back out of the field, and these guys will take a look at that last play. If Randy Soto was able to hold the bag with his foot, that was a really impressive play on the stretch over at first. So here's our first look at it. Ball has to be in the back of the glove with the foot still on the bag, and yeah, it certainly is. That's a great job by Randy Soto. Came off the bag, but after he made the catch. So that is going to be a 6-3 putout, as the play as ruled on the field was an out, and that is clear as day on the replay to confirm it. That's a great job by Randy Soto on that stretch. Eduardo Gomez and Yuri Machiavelli taking part in the review. Here comes the call from Gomez, the crew chief, and out at first is the call. And that will do it here in the 4th. So we'll head to our extended end of 4th inning break and move on to the 5th. The United States in control of this one out in front of Venezuela 4-0. top of the 5th inning in Taipei as we move along on the final day, the opening round of the 2023 WBSC U18 Baseball World Cup. It is a 4-0 lead for the United States over Venezuela in a matchup of rivals from the Americas. U.S. with a run in the first, 3 in the third, and Venezuela scoreless on 3 hits to this point as the U.S. will turn things over in the top half of the 5th inning and hand things to the left-hander Jack McKernan. So Levi Sterling's day is done after 4 shutout frames. 3 hits for him, 3 strikeouts. Didn't issue a walk. He did hit a couple of batters. But Jack McKernan, the left-hander out of Missouri City, Texas, comes on. Final pitch count for Levi Sterling today. U.S. left-hander only needed 36 pitches, 27 for strikes to get through his 4 innings.
They're giving all the BP balls away. You gave away a dozen yesterday.
You hear somebody in the U.S. dugout say, quit giving all the BP balls away to the guys who were coming in from playing catch with the fielders. There are fans hanging out over the railings on each side at the end of each half inning looking for baseballs. Everybody wants a souvenir. Come out to a World Cup game. Hope to come away with something cool to show for it. So McKernan on for his first inning of relief. Two balls and no strikes. Jack McKernan took part in the U12 Baseball World Cup for the U.S. 4 years ago. And he issues a walk here to the leadoff man, Anderson Tovar. Tovar on for the first time today. First walk of the day for Venezuela comes in the top of the 5th inning. There you see LaTroy Hawkins in that third base dugout. I gotta ask LaTroy Hawkins why it is that he never wears a hat in the dugout. Seems to be anti-hat in the dugout. Whenever he goes out for a mound visit, he's got a hat on. But I noticed that yesterday, and I remember seeing him coaching for Brazil in the World Baseball Classic qualifiers last year when Ryan Roland Smith and I were on those broadcasts in Panama. Same story there. I gotta get the intel from LaTroy Hawkins. Swinging a ground ball right side of the infield. 4-6 for the first out as Coy James is able to get that to Manny Marin. That is all. Cristian Arguelles will reach. That'll bring up his Michael Arrieche. Runner at first now, Arguelles. And the first pitch is down to Arrieche. Single through the left side in his first trip to the plate today. Back to the mound. This could be 2. Second for 1, Coy James on to first. 1-4-3, nicely turned. Not a real easy throw for Coy James to be able to handle, but he does handle it and gets the throw to first in time to retire Arrieche. So Venezuela sends the minimum here in the 5th, and we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. U.S. looking to add some insurance to a 4-0 lead on the final day of the opening round. Leadoff man for the United States in the bottom of the 5th inning is the 9-hole hitter Manny Marin, who got the U.S. 5th inning is the 9-hole hitter Manny Marin, who got the U.S.'s 3-run third started with a leadoff single to left field. His 6th hit of this U18 Baseball World Cup. He'll try to get something else started here in the 5th as he goes to work against the right-hander for Venezuela. This is Dylan Fernandez, who comes on in relief of Brian Fernandez. Aaron. Hard to believe we are at the final day of the opening round. Still things to get sorted out as far as the Super Round standings and seeds will go. The U.S. awaiting the outcome of Japan-Netherlands tonight. If Japan wins that game, they'd be the top seed. They own the head-to-head tiebreaker of the United States. The U.S. owns that tiebreaker over the Netherlands and would finish with a record 1 game better. They'd be the top seed. They own the head-to-head tiebreaker of the United States. The U.S. owns that tiebreaker over the Netherlands and would finish with a record 1 game better. As Marin is retired by his shortstop counterpart, Elienecker Coronado. If the Netherlands wins that game in a roundabout fashion, Japan beat the U.S., U.S. beat the Netherlands. This would be assuming the Netherlands beats Japan tonight. A foul pop first base side, twisting in the breeze, and Randy Soto is there to make the grab and retire Coy James. 2 gone. Curry will take strike 1. Fastball in the mid-80s from Dylan Fernandez. These WBSC World Cup events kind of always feel that way. The first few days, it's drinking out of a fire hose 3 games a day and getting to watch all this fun baseball. And then all of a sudden, you're at the end of the opening round. And 5 days have gone by like that. 6 days, really, for this opening round. Started on Thursday with game 1 between Chinese Taipei and Australia. Chinese Taipei will be back here. The home team traveling north to Taipei from Taichung. We'll get to see them in the house here coming up on Thursday. And they've got a head-to-head matchup against Puerto Rico tonight with the top seed in Group A on the line. The winner of that game will finish unbeaten at 5-0. Japan with a win tonight over the Netherlands will do the same. But man, that Netherlands team is no slouch. Second straight year with a Super Round berth for the Kingdom. A swing and a drive off the bat of Derek Curiel. Baseball stadium in the U.S. goes 3 up, 3 down here in the 5th after sending the minimum in the 4th. We are ticketed for the 6th. Top half of the 6th inning, and the leadoff man for Venezuela, Carlos Garces, is the top man in the order for his team, which trails the United States 4-0 as we move into our penultimate inning of these regulation 7-inning games. Jack McKernan back on the mound for the U.S., his 2nd inning of work after facing the minimum and helping himself out with a 1-4-3 double play ball to end the top of the 5th. No balls and 2 strikes on Garces. Carlos, 3 for 9 in the World Cup. Single and a sacrifice bunt today, and he swings and doesn't get a piece of that 0-2 pitch. Out in front of it, waving at it. He is gone for strikeout number 1 for Jack McKernan. That sends it to Elienecker Coronado. Coronado committed a throwing error earlier in this game, got drilled in the back by an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, caused a little dust-up between himself and Manny Marin when he tried to pull Marin's hand off the bag, tagging him on a stolen base. It's been an eventful Tuesday for Elienecker Coronado. Single through the right side back in the 1st inning. His 2nd hit of 12 ABs in this World Cup. Now facing a 1-2 count here against McKernan. Bouncing ball to second. Coy James is there on a candy hop in the underhand flip. Retires Coronado. And those were always the greatest hops playing baseball growing up. Anything that you can just reach up for, easy bounce to you. Mostly because I was bad defensively. So the easy ones, those were the nice ones. Coy James, a very good baseball player. I'm sure he'd rather have the tougher ones to play. 2 gone, bases empty. First pitch is ball 1 to Gabriel Davalillo. 0 for 2, a ground out and a double play ball off of his bat today. 1-0 down low. That one burns over the inside corner. Good velocity from the lefty, McKernan. It was about 91 miles per hour on that last heater. That one just about the same, but well away from where maybe is called for it. 3 balls and a strike, 2 outs, bases empty. Venezuela has sent the minimum in 3 of the last 4 innings, just 1 over the minimum in total over those 4, despite having some base runners. Single, a hit by pitch in the 3rd, a hit by pitch in the 4th, a walk in the 5th, and now a walk here in the 6th with 2 gone. That'll bring up Randy Soto. Taking the first pitch to Soto. Ball 1. And another balk called in this game. And Jack McKernan is unsure as to why. But Troy Hawkins asked for the explanation, seems satisfied with it. We have seen a lot of balks. I mean, World Cup wide, I think we've had at least one in every game I've called so far, and this is my 11th game of the 26 in this opening round. So it puts Davalillo at second. Shadows have crept across the mound in addition to the plate area. Out toward first base as well. 2 balls and a strike. McKernan's 2-1. 2 quick outs to start this inning. Now back-to-back 3-ball counts. He lost the first man on a walk. Trying to climb back in here against Randy Soto. The 3-1 is waved at and missed. Got Soto to chase down in the zone. McKernan ready on 3-2. Lost him with ball 4, so back-to-back walks now. And again, this U.S. team yesterday built a big early lead and then saw Panama climb back in, turned a 6-0 game into a 6-4 game. And today, as LaTroy Hawkins throws on a hat to come out, although I will say the wrong hat. He's got the BP hat on instead of the home U.S. lid. But things getting a little interesting here, too. I mean, the tying run is in the on-deck circle. Granted, there's 2 outs here in the 6th, and Venezuela's only got 3 hits today, none since the 3rd inning, but the U.S. has not made things easy so far in this World Cup. As you see the action in the bullpen, that's actually a shot of the screen in the U.S. dugout. Hence the kind of gloss to it. A couple of arms getting loose. Dugout, or the bullpens here in Taipei at Tianmu Baseball Stadium are under the seating bowl on the first and third base sides. So we don't have a direct line to look into them. First pitch down our way to Francisco Rivero, ball and no strikes. Leadoff strikeout of Carlos Garza's. Elianecker Coronado bounced out to second base. It was 2 outs, bases empty. Rivero trying to get his team on the board now, 2-0. The control has abated for Jack McKernan here. Three balls and no strikes. Three 0 pitches there for strike 1. And a hitter's count now for Francisco Rivero out of the 5 spot. here for strike 2 to fill it up. McKernan trying to strand a pair. 3-2. Left side, that is gonna scoot through past the dive of Manny Marin on into center field. Rounding third base, Davalillo will score. Throw into third is not in time to get Randy Soto. And on the RBI single, Francisco Rivera gets Venezuela on the board. It's a 4-1 game in the 6th. So the walks come back to hurt for the U.S. And that is going to force the end of the day for Jack McKernan, who really cruised through his first 5 hitters, and then the command just disappeared. And Venezuela onto the board with a new arm entering for the United States. We'll tell you about it when we return. 4-1 and 2 on with the tying run coming to the plate here in the 6th. Runners at the corners and 2 gone in the top of the 6th, and the U.S. will go to the bullpen once more and summon the right-hander Joey Oki, who takes over to try to get his team back in the dugout with this 3-run lead intact and nearly gave up another run on its first pitch. Joey Oki from Ankeny, Iowa. Only Iowan on this roster. Really the only Midwestern product on this roster for the U.S. As the 1-0 pitch is there for a strike to him. Grayson Guedes, who's been terrific for his team in this World Cup. 0 for 2 so far today. Well, this is a bat you are delighted to have at the plate. If you are Venezuela's Clemente Alvarez. 2-1 from Oki. Fouled back, and it's 2-2. Oki coming into the low 90s. And now trying to finish off Guedes.
Oh, JoJo, make a pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. 3-2. Austin with that one, which ran arm side on Oki. Francisco Rivera is going to be off from first on this one. Tying run at the plate. 4-1, the U.S. leads it here in the 6th. 3-2 pitch from Oki. Runner moving and a swing and a miss at ball 4 as he gets Guedes to chase, and that retires the side. Joey Oki makes his pitch, and the U.S. is out of the jam. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. United States with a 4-1 lead over Venezuela in game number 26 of the U18 Baseball World Cup. Bottom of the 6th inning, it is a 4-1 lead for the United States over Venezuela as we have arrived at the final day of the opening round of the WBSC U18 Baseball World Cup. Back at Taipei's beautiful Tianmu Baseball Stadium for this last day of the opening round in Group B. My name is Tyler Mon, leadoff man for the U.S. here in the bottom of the 6th. Looking to add on some insurance. The 3-run lead is Perry Morlando. PJ, as he is known in the lineup. PJ with a walk in the 1st inning and a fly out to center field in the 3rd. And the big 3-hole hitter for the United States, trying to get his team started to reclaim that run. Venezuela scratched across in the top half of this frame. Had the tying run at the plate. We're in the top of this 6th inning. Didn't get anything else across aside from that first one. Panama yesterday had the tying run of the plate in the bottom half of the 7th. A game the U.S. led 6-0, ended up hanging on for a 6-4 win. Just has not been that breakout dominant performance as of yet for the United States, but that's not entirely uncommon in these World Cups, as P.J. Morlando will work a leadoff walk here in the 6th. He's talking with U.S. assistant Jason Maxwell today, and he said, we tell these guys a lot of times that there are 3 steps as being part of this group. First one is you have to make the team. Second one is you have to become a team. The third one is you have to learn how to play as a team. And he said, you know, we're 5 days in. I think we're still on the step 2 of that process. And like I said, that's not super uncommon for USA baseball teams in these World Cups. The developmental pathways for the U.S., a bouncing ball out to short should be an easy double play. To second, Coronado's throw to first is on time. And, man, it's a really good job by Randy Soto holding on to the bag here in these last couple of throws his direction that have taken him to the ground. And Connor Griffin is retired on the backside of that double play. But the developmental pathways for U.S. players just so different nowadays than players elsewhere on the global stage. I mean, for example, Samurai Japan held its first identification and training camp for its team for this U18 Baseball World Cup back in April. These U.S. guys were still in the high school season, travel ball showcase stuff over the summers. It's not as though they have been playing together for the last 5 months. And so there is a big element of being around each other in the hotel for the first time, traveling together, meals together, hanging out in the clubhouse together, all of that goes into creating a team, quote unquote. The U.S. doesn't have quite as much of that as of yet as some of these other U18 Baseball World Cup teams do. But the other thing we always see with USA Baseball is that, like everybody else in these tournaments, they get so much better as these 10 days go along, but their ceiling often is so much higher than everybody else's that by the end, they are playing as a scary good unit. Now, this one might be a little bit slower starting than some of the other teams that we've seen from the U.S., but hey, they're right on track. They lost the toughest matchup of the opening round so far to Japan as the 2-2 stays high on Levi Clark, 3-2. But going to move on to the super round. And that's where all the important stuff happens. Here comes the 3-2 from Dylan Fernandez, and that's fouled off. Couple of strikeouts today for Levi Clark, trying to avoid a third one. End of the windup, here's the pitch from Fernandez, and there it is. Strike 3 is a frustrating day for Levi Clark at the plate. He has gone on strikes, and that retires the side in the 6th. The U.S. can't add any insurance, but 3 outs away from finishing the opening round at 4-1. They'll head to the field to try to close out a win in game number 26 of the U18 Baseball World Cup. Leadoff man in the top of the 7th inning for Venezuela is Anderson Tovar. It'll be the bottom third of the order for Clemente Alvarez's team, trying to head on to the placement round with a big-time win. Trailing this game 4-1. They brought the tying run at the plate last inning, and they will go to work against Joey Oki, who will try to nail down this save for USA Baseball. 3 balls and no strikes, though, right out of the gate to Anderson Tovar. Tovar 0 for 1, a strikeout in the 2nd inning, a walk in the 5th. Oki deals, and that one's called strike 1. Took a little something off to place the fastball in the zone. The 3-1 pitch is grooved in for strike 2. Oki deals. 3-2. Pounded on the ground, out to the left side. Manny Marin, gloves on the backhand. Long throw in time. Nice play by Manny Marin for out number 1. Strong throw from the U.S. shortstop from Miami.
Bryce. You good? Yes.
And with 1 gone, brings up Christian Arguelles. Looking for multiple runs in this inning. Venezuela, you're so far behind the 8 ball when you don't get the leadoff man on. Trailing by 3. As Oki kicks and comes home on 0-1. And a cue shot that may have broken the bat of Arguelles.
DC, work with me.
And did.
Yeah, not too much. Bryce,
So
you
he'll
go
get a
warm
new
up.
one.
Hey, here. KG, that and this.
You can hear Jason Maxwell, U.S. assistant, positioning the outfield from that third base dugout. 0-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off of Berkeley Mabius. Arguelles goes to check on him, make sure he's all right. Always love that moment when a home plate umpire walks a new ball out to a pitcher to give a catcher a moment to get himself together after taking a foul like that.
Okay.
Here's the 0-2. Nowhere close on that one.
Go, Joey.
Oki didn't finish it off. It's 1-2. Joey Oki has been really good since coming on. Had the strikeout of Guedes to finish off the 6th. Got the leadoff out here in the 7th. Got to an 0-2 count on Arguelles.
Go, go, go.
One-two pitch. Got it. Arguelles gone on strikes. Joey Oki with his 2nd K, and the U.S. is 1 out away from moving on to the Super Round at 4-1 on the opening round standings. Man, just blew that thing by, let her high past Arguelles, and now the first pitch is way up and in, and that actually got Arrietche. So a 2-out base runner for Venezuela as Michael Arrietche is on. That is the 3rd hit batsman of the day for U.S. pitching. Troy Hawkins will come out. Might have heard us on the broadcast. He's got the right hat on this time. He's going to go for a word with Joey Oki, and looks like a member of the U.S. training staff out there with him as well. Hopefully Oki is okay. And we're going to have to get somebody going U.S. bullpen, it looks like, as Oki may have felt something in the right arm. I think that's what that signal was from LaTroy Hawkins to get someone going. And oh man, you hate to see this. Joey Oki just lost control of that pitch and immediately has to come out of this game, and you really hope that is nothing serious. As the right-hander from Ankeny, Iowa will head off and immediately down the tunnel. So certainly thinking about Joey Oki. Hopefully he is okay. And the U.S. will go to the bullpen. Tell you about the new arm when we return. The United States 1 out away from closing out the opening round with a victory here in Taipei. Well, the new arm into the game to try to close out this win for the United States is the left-hander Noah Franco, who takes over after Joey Oki leaves with an apparent injury. And Franco inherits a runner at first base in a 3-run game, and he'll go to work against Carlos Garces back at the top of the order, and his first pitch is up high for ball 1. So Joey Oki, strikeout, ground out, strikeout. Then he hit Esmael Arrieche with a pitch, immediately motioned to the third base dugout, came out with a member of the U.S. training staff as well as pitching coach LaTroy Hawkins, and departed into that third base dugout. So certainly our thoughts with Joey Oki. Hopefully he is all right and nothing serious. 1-1 pitch, 2 balls and a strike. We're all, of course, just so hyper cognizant and aware of arm injuries, especially with young pitchers nowadays. All the best to Joey Oki. Runner off, 2-1 pitch, and on defensive indifference, Arrieche will take second. 3 balls and a strike. Franco kicks and deals, and that one is there for strike 2. One pitch away from nailing down this win and a save. Noah Franco comes set. And his 3-2 pitch is fouled away. Franco ready again. Another 3-2. This one punched in the air toward right center field, and on the run, lunging out, Derek Curiel is there to make the catch. He was positioned perfectly, and he robs Carlos Garces and wraps up this game here with the game-ending catch in the top half of the 7th inning. The United States finishes off a 4-1 run through the opening round and is on to the Super Round in an attempt to defend its world championship from last year here at the U18 Baseball World Cup. Our final line in this game for the U.S., 4 runs on just 3 hits, 1 error. But for Venezuela, just 1 run on 4 hits and 1 error. The U.S. notches the win and will take a 4-1 mark on into the Super Round, 1-1 on the Super Round standings. And for Venezuela, it is on to the placement round starting on Thursday in Taichung. That'll do it for game number 2 of our 3 today. Keith Jong will be with you for the nightcap as Japan takes on the Netherlands with big-time seeding implications at stake in the Super Round from Group B. My name is Tyler Mon, U.S. over Venezuela, 4-1. We'll talk to you later this week from here in Taipei.